This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news will fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cruise Control. This is your on-air automotive magazine. You know that because you listen to us and watch us all the time. You know me, I'm Les Jackson, and you know that other guy, Fred Staub. How are you doing, Fred?
I'm doing good, Les. A fair amount of things going on this week, especially for a summer week. So we'll get to them.
Yes, all sorts of new stuff going on, but we'll talk about in due time. But first, we're going to talk about Chinese cars, and are they a danger to U.S. citizens? Well, maybe, but one car maker says yes, the government agrees. So this is going to get interesting over time.
Yeah, and it has to do with data and the ability for the Chinese government to shut the cars down if they want to. So that is the problem of a connected car. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And then Hyundai rolls out some of its new models. We're going to kind of go through the full lineup and see what they have and talk some pricing. And, it should be a great piece if you're looking to buy a Hyundai.
Absolutely, and Mazda has priced out the CX-5 for 2025. Here we are. It's all 2025 now.
Yeah.
So get ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk about that. And we're also going to talk about GM announcing this week it will not hit its EV sales target. We'll tell you what their plan is and how they expect to get those numbers up.
Absolutely, and Ford says the next Super Duty truck will be a hybrid. Notice I didn't say an EV.
Yeah, that's right. And something that's also a hybrid, the new Flying Spur. It is the most powerful Flying Spur from Bentley, and it is a hybrid, Les Jackson. I believe the first one that they've ever done.
I think it is. And on the lighter side of the news, 65,000 coffee mugs were stolen or missing at the Tesla plant. We'll talk about that. I suspect I know who the culprit is.
I think there's only like 12,000 people that work there, so
That's right.
Everyone must have absconded with several, enough for all their family. Who wouldn't want that?
A family serving of four each,
Yeah, full
funny.
formal service. Yeah, it is funny, and what is going on there? Who knows? It's a different version of one piece of it at a time, like that Johnny Cash song.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, we're just getting started on Cruise Control. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned. We will get into it when we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We're starting off this hour with some interesting discussion that I am sure will heat up no matter who ends up in the White House. Not getting all political there, but this is something I think that probably has bipartisan concern. Starts off with a quote from Ford's CEO Jim Farley, who has been saying a lot lately, Les. He's almost becoming like Bob Lutz used to be. Remember?
I was just thinking that recently, that he's the new Bob Lutz.
Yeah. For a while there, it was Musk. Now it seems like that is going over to Jim Farley. But anyway, he says, this is according to an article in Ford Authority, that Chinese vehicles pose a national security risk. They could share sensitive data about our citizens, our infrastructure, and send the data back to the People's Republic of China. In other words, your car could be a spy. Now,
yeah.
And now,
I believe this, by the way.
Let's think about this, because this has been in the news. The DJI drones, possibly the most popular drone maker out there, people using them for fun, they potentially could be banned because they say, well, what if you fly it over an airport, or what if you fly it over a military facility, which you probably wouldn't do. But in any event, a power plant, anything like that, that could be a problem. What Jim Farley is saying is the same thing with cars. Who knows? They could turn on cameras remotely and see things. You don't know. And the idea that they make them inexpensive and get people to use them. What if they work at a plant that builds airplanes, military airplanes, or other equipment, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And to give you an idea, I thought about this, and I did some calculations before the show. I thought about this, how much information they can get from you in your car.
Yep.
And the Americans drive over 2 trillion miles a year.
Right.
So all that time in the cars, think about it. Just think about it.
And you don't need balloons floating over the U.S., or you don't need super secret spy planes or satellites. It's like, hey, we'll sell them the spy gear. They'll pay for it, and we'll use it, right?
Yeah, that's good marketing. I got to give them credit. But, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of reasons to be suspect of the Chinese in general, because we see what they're doing and what they're attempting to do.
Now, as a piggyback to this story, the U.S. Commerce Department wants to impose limitations on Chinese-made software in connected vehicles. They're talking just about the software. This is a Reuters article. Yep. And the United States Commerce Department intends to introduce proposals that could see limitations imposed on Chinese-made software for connected vehicles. It's not the entire car, but rather the software and specific components that manage the data around the car that would have to be made in an allied country. This is Alan Estevez, Undersecretary of Commerce for Industry and Security. Once again, this is all made in China. It's built in China, and who knows what's put into it, right?
Well, exactly. And if you buy something like a car from China, and especially an electric vehicle, and it has over-the-air updates, remember, that goes both ways. So I would worry about having something like that.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's paranoia. They're not our friends.
Yeah, the other thing is, too, that people don't realize, and I always tell this story. I worked in creating content for the internet a long time ago for a major company, and it was completely unmonetized. It was completely a loss, and everyone was like, how are we going to make money on the internet, sell ads or whatever? but really it was never brought up. But now we know what it is. It's data harvesting. So, hey, we give you that free nav system, but we're getting something in return for it. We know where you've been, and we know you pass by this store every day, so we're going to send you an ad for it.
Stop in the Dunkin' Donuts.
So we'll send you a coupon, which you may like. I mean, maybe that's a good thing in certain cases. Sure. But what do you think? Should this Chinese cars, are they a threat to the U.S.? Tell us about it in the comments. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, we're going to take a look at what Hyundai has planned for 2025. Stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Cruise Control. Good news from Hyundai, and that is 2025 model year changes, which is a lot of them. Wow. Shall we run down the list? Because, and by the way, Hyundai can't keep their vehicles on the lots. Neither can Kia.
No. Well, they offer a lot of interesting designs, and they are well equipped. So let's run them down. New model is going to debut later in 2024. I like that they call this out. Stop the secret. Oh, we can't tell you about upcoming stuff. Let's just do it. They're going to have an Ioniq 3-row SUV EV, all new model, and it's going to debut later in 2024. So probably going to be like their EV9. And I would say like the Kia EV9. I would say it will probably be a little bit less out there on the styling. It'll be probably a little bit less modern as the EV9. But we'll see.
Yeah, you never know. And an all-new Ioniq 5 EV. So here they come. They're not bashful. You know, they as you have predicted, they're going to be the EV gold standard.
Yeah. And one of my favorite electric vehicles, the Ioniq 6, is a carryover model. Why not? It is a good deal. You can get the fully loaded one for around $50,000 with good range. I tell you, it's a solid feeling car. I reviewed it not that long ago, and I was impressed. And what do you got up next?
Well, the Santa Cruz is going to get some product enhancements, as will the Tucson. And then the Palisade, which is incredibly popular, is a carryover model.
Mm-hmm.
So the Palisade, like the Kia Telluride, again, stand in line and wait for one because you gotta.
Yeah, exactly. And then Santa Fe. A Santa Fe is a carryover model, but of course it is an ICE model and a hybrid electric vehicle model. Same thing for Kona. That is a carryover model. And then there's a Kona EV, and EV N-Line carryover. The Venue is a carryover model. I always wanted to get in a Venue. It's their least expensive model. It's hard to. I've never been able to do it.
I've never seen one on the road.
Yeah, I've seen them, but I've just never. They just don't have them in the fleet for some reason.
Well,
I don't know.
Just like they don't have base models of anything.
It's kind of a base model car, but it's a good review for our audience if they want a less expensive car. You know?
Right.
So.
But we can't choose which models they.
No, I asked for it, and I'd like to drive the next one you're going to talk about. The Nexo, the
Nexo, the hydrogen fuel cell car. Now, that's a carryover model, but it doesn't need to be renewed. It's the future already.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get in one of those.
Yeah, me too. Elantra, I just drove the Elantra. Basically going to be a carryover model along with the Elantra N and the Sonata. And I think they're going to keep building sedans because they are one of the few full-range manufacturers. There's a rumor this week, unsubstantiated so far, that Nissan's getting out of the sedan business. They're going to kill off the Altima and the Versa.
I don't believe that rumor. I certainly can understand why there would be a rumor. I think the Maxima, was doomed. But no, I just don't think they'll do that.
No, and the Versa is the least expensive car now, can be had for under $18,000. So it would be sad to see that go. There's some talk that the Kicks might replace that as their least expensive model. So we'll have to see. But you have a story about Mazda, don't you?
Well, that's right. Our friends at Mazda, the CX-5, which is really, really popular, and of course that great red color.
Soul red.
Keeps going. If I had a hot rod, I would paint it that color tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't. Anyway, the CX-5, this is the 2025, has a starting price of $28,570, which is, modest.
Yeah, when you think about it. I mean, there's not a lot of updates, but things like standard dual front USB-C ports. There's a lot of models, though. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different models, which is unusual. And the range of prices goes from about $28,570. That is for what would be called the base model, the 2.5S, all the way up to the 2.5 turbo signature at 40,600. By the way, a 2.5 liter engine is a pretty big engine these days, and
That's a big block, naturally aspirated for most of them, except for the top end turbo.
yeah,
187 horsepower. That's plenty.
yeah, that's good. And the first turbo you can get, the least expensive turbo model, is $37,000. The carbon, that is the 2.5 carbon turbo. I guess it's like carbon, probably the blacked out edition. It's just carbon. Sounds like it's engine comes with carbon in it.
Yeah, and you get the select, the preferred, the carbon edition, the premium plus, the carbon turbo. How do they keep track of these things? The turbo premium, the turbo signature.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's
Wow.
like if you go into your Mazda dealer. Do they have all of these grades out there, or do you end up saying, well, I wanted the premium plus, but I'll step up to a turbo model, which is $2,000 more. I'm thinking that's what might happen. You know.
Yeah.
But your Soul Red Crystal Metallic is $595 extra.
If you really look at the prices on everybody's vehicles these days, you typically only have one or two colors that are standard and don't have a
White.
surcharge.
Yeah.
White. No. Well, pearl white. They're $595.
Right.
Usually there's a blue and there's a black.
Yeah.
Everything else, $495, $595.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And any of those prices we mentioned do not include the $1,420 destination and handling. That's $1,465 in Alaska. So something to keep in mind.
Here's something that we're beginning to notice a lot is these shipping charges are really creeping up at a rather alarming rate.
Right.
Somebody needs to just look into that and see, are we stacking the deck a little bit?
Well,
I don't know.
Remember the we talked about the I believe it's called the Escalade IQ last week, the electric version of the Escalade. A little later on, we're going to talk about the internal combustion version of the Escalade that was just shown for 2025 this week. But that had a destination charge of almost $2,500.
Ooh.
That used to be you stepped up to the next trim level. Now you're just getting your vehicle into the dealer.
It's just you've got this shipping charge, and it's well over $1,000, and you just just pay it.
What's the last shipping charge you paid that you remember?
Well, I remember
I know you just did something this week, but
that's right. Prior to this week, the last shipping charge I paid, I believe, was about $350.
All right. Well, when we come back, we've got plenty more cruise control. GM not meeting its EV target. What are they going to do about it? We'll tell you when we come back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Les, EV targets, you and I have been talking about this. It didn't play out the way, it didn't go to plan, as our friends across the ocean say, which I always like that.
That's right.
I also like when something goes well, like you fix something, they say result.
I love that. I like that, and there you are, results, and only £4 of money.
Yes, result. I took this valve out and put a new one in, and it works.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. GM wanted to hit 1 million EVs sold by 2025. They talked to InsideEV.com, and they say that Mary Barra, the CEO, says they will not hit that number because the market is just not developing. And that now I have a theory on this, but let's go through this story a little bit. They've had some bad launches. The Blazer launch, the EV Blazer launch. They're talking about building that giant Hummer vehicle, the giant Escalade. These are niche. These are not volume vehicles.
They're not volume, and they're hugely expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of. Yeah. They're like 12,000-pound behemoths. That.
That's right.
And they killed off the Bolt. Okay, that might make sense. They did that because they had the old battery packs. That's the thing they should be building. They should be.
That it is.
They should be selling these things as this is your second around town car, right?
And the crossover SUVs. They should be heading for that electric market because that's where people will spend the money.
Yeah. But to make $150,000 Hummers, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just a limited. You're not gonna hit big numbers on that.
Do we know? They plan to hit 1 million by the end of this year, which is
they
going to
won't
happen. Do we know how many they've sold?
I don't know. I don't know, or how close they've come to that. The Lyric, by the way, the Cadillac Lyric is doing well. I see a lot of them out there. That seems to be doing well, but they've had to incentivize it as well. So,
yeah. I'm going to guess that they haven't even made it halfway.
Yeah.
It's a guess. That's all it is.
Well, they had a few stumbles on the Equinox EV. Once again, they bring out the most expensive model and not the least expensive model. So I think people are not all in on it. They almost think the electric vehicles should cost less because of some of the hassles, but instead they cost like triple the price of a regular internal combustion engine vehicle.
Exactly. And not at the high end, but at the lower ends, the interiors of GM Electrics don't come across as super luxurious. They're rather basic.
Yeah.
And I think it probably turns some people off.
Yeah, I think it does. And also, unlike Kia or Hyundai, you go to buy some of these GM vehicles, you don't get much at the base level, where you could buy a base Hyundai or Kia and have a pretty nice vehicle that's pretty well equipped,
That's right.
So I don't know. I think they just don't have the right product mix in there. Silverado EVs selling for $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. I don't know. I don't think that's the right. I think they have the wrong product mix. That's what I think.
I looked at a Malibu a few months ago in my search that we'll tell you about some other time, and really nice car, but the the interior, especially the dash, looked like it was, Malibu 1999.
Yeah.
And you just, I think people want more than that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I think they've always used the interiors, or at least for the last, I remember starting back in the 80s, I was like, this is your interior, like silver painted plastic. I think they use that as the way to economize. I think they use that as the way to economize, and people always complained about it. Hard plastics, the same old switchgear that felt ratchety, like it was going to break.
Yeah.
Where other manufacturers like Kia or Hyundai turn out great interiors, and you're like, wow, this is a high-end interior with everything I need and then some. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you just. I think times are tough for GM. I have a feeling they're going to eventually decide that Mary Barra is going to be retired to whatever she wishes.
Big prediction there from Les Jackson. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
So what do you think? Are they selling the right vehicles at GM, or are they selling the wrong vehicles? Or big Hummer EVs and Silverado EVs that are heavy and expensive? The wrong mix? Should they be selling less expensive electric cars? What should they do? Let us know in the comments. We'd like to know from you. I have my own feelings, but talking about selling big, heavy vehicles, and these are big, heavy vehicles for a purpose. They serve a purpose. Ford's next Super Duty is going to go hybrid, and it will expand. The production will expand at Ford's Oakville, Ontario plant in 2026, and as they say, bring multi-energy technology to the next-gen truck. Now, there's been some talk that they might even do some fuel cells in the mix of these vehicles, these heavy duties, but certainly it will mean hybrids, won't it?
Well, it has to. I mean, there wouldn't be anything else. Now, there could be plug-ins, could be mild, could be both. I doubt they would be hydrogen fuel cells. I think that's a little bit too expensive a technology to just throw into the trucks at the moment.
Although these are, in many cases, fleet vehicles, so...
Well, that's true, but not inexpensive.
Not inexpensive, no. So there's also going to be a 3-row electric SUV. They still plan to build that. It was initially expected in 2025. It may be delayed until 2027 or later. So following the trend where, the electrics just are not happening, so they are switching up and delaying, right? So
well, times are, what would be the word? Indefinite, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, exactly. They're up in the air. Right. But they're not up in the air when it comes to Bentley. Bentley has an ultra-performance hybrid powertrain, 771 horsepower, 738 pound-feet of torque. This is from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 with a powerful electric motor. That is powerful. I see that powertrain, and I think probably Dodge should have stuck with a V8, done a small V8 with a twin turbo. What do you think?
Yeah, and there's just something. What's the word? Elegantly outrageous about the Bentley's performance vehicles. They've always been fast. That's kind of what W.O. Bentley was all about. But this, what is the price on this? Do we have a?
I think it's too soon to tell. It does have a 45-mile electric range.
That's actually very very good.
500-mile
That's a
total
big
range.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say you will be burning premium fuel. Would you agree?
And lots of it. The W12 has never been known to be an efficient use of resources engine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's thirsty.
Yeah. I think this is going to be quite the vehicle, though. Quite the vehicle, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more about it. But one of the biggest stories we've all been waiting for is the caper, the coffee cup caper.
The coffee cup caper.
Yep, 65,000 coffee mugs disappear from a Tesla plant, or actually, I believe it's a Giga plant. So we'll talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back. I got to put down my Tesla coffee mug.
We'll get to that in a second, though.
Yeah.
Before we do,
Yeah.
let's talk about Mini. Mini,
Yes.
the Mini Cooper. Kind of going back to basics with this edition of the Mini Cooper. Mini Cooper and Mini Cooper S4 door make their debut on the road at Mini Takes the States 2024. They're getting ready for the biannual Mini Takes the States Owners Rally. And they will be doing a number of events around the U.S. The next generation 5-seater brings the futuristic flair, which it has that round screen that looks like a pizza attached to your
Right.
dashboard.
Those are expressive accents.
You've been reading press releases again, haven't you?
I confess, those are not my words.
So they say most of our loyal Miniacs will be driving across country with us all week. It's sort of like a hot rod power tour for Mini Coopers, right?
They've got a very loyal following. It's a fun car. It's a good car.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about that pizza attached to the dash, though. I just don't know.
Well,
The screen.
yeah, that has never
Oddly
moved
sized.
me much.
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
you're doing art and you put that on there, I'd say that's actually too big, But that's neither here nor there because your favorite story's coming up, Les. And it has
Yep.
to do with coffee. Who doesn't like a good morning cup of coffee, right?
Listen, without coffee, I wouldn't have a personality. But and neither would Elon Musk.
He doesn't have a cup to put it in, though. He'll have to
But
drink
he
right
doesn't
in.
have a cup to put it in at the German Tesla plant. 65,000 coffee mugs are missing.
Yeah, this comes from our friends at Jalopnik, by the way. And
So they only have 12,000 employees, so that's
gee, I wonder what
4
happened.
each. Well, you need a 4-place serving.
Right. Or
your
maybe you
house.
keep one in your locker, keep one at your work desk, maybe keep one by the coffee machine, at work. That's what they're doing, right?
No, because I just went on eBay, and there are page after page after page after page of Tesla coffee mugs for in the $30 to $35, $40 range. So I just think this is great.
So this
Anyway,
began.
the plant
in-
manager's furious.
Yes, they say the plant opened in 2022, and he said if all 65,000 mugs were stolen, that equates to about 77 daily mug thefts. People are walking out with these on hand trucks, aren't they?
Well, I think they didn't explain to the people that those aren't throwaway mugs. You drink a cup of coffee and you keep the mug and wash it rather than throw it in the trash can. But actually, they're very good-looking mugs, and I can see why people just take them.
Yeah, I think they should just make them a plain white mug that nobody cares about. Go to IKEA. There's this place called IKEA.
Or Uline.
Yeah.
And you can get generic mugs for whatever, like $40 for 200 of them.
Yeah. That's what I would do. That way, it's like you're just a mug to keep coffee in. They're nothing big. But that's crazy. So,
but funny.
This is the plant that had a lot of people protesting against it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So they said if these mugs keep disappearing, we will no longer provide cutlery in the factory break rooms. if the bloodthirsty mug thieves don't cut out their antics.
Why don't you just say you have to bring your own cup?
Yeah, I think the solution is, like I said, IKEA or Uline, someplace where you can buy.
Plastic cups.
Yeah, if it breaks, I always thought that was good for parties. Like if you needed wine glasses, you can get them pretty cheaply. If someone breaks it, just sweep it up and throw it away.
Yeah. I mean, why not? That's what most other organizations do.
Yeah.
And they have a dishwasher, and you throw them in, and every day it's a clean, generic cup.
Yeah. Well, I find it interesting though, but yeah, we never. That's sort of our as the Tesla turns for this week.
It is funny. I mean, it is kind of sad that people are
it's
stealing
theft.
them at that
rate. It is
rate.
theft. Yeah. But if it's a nice mug, you might expect someone to pocket that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sell it.
Let's talk about Volkswagen for a second here. Volkswagen's going to offer a 2024 Tiguan Wolfsburg Edition. It's a special model based on their SE trim. The value-oriented special model will feature unique design, details, and content. Interesting that they build it on a kind of a cost-efficient version of the vehicle.
Yeah.
On the SE trim. MSRP of about $30,995, $32,000 with all-wheel drive 4Motion. 4 colors: Atlantic blue, deep black pearl, platinum gray, and pure white. 18-inch wheels, machine finish 5-spoke, gloss 10-spoke design sets them apart. So unique wheels, silver mirror caps, front bumper accents, black window surround, black leatherette on the inside, and exclusive snap-on stitching as homage to the popular habanero orange color. Sounds like a fun version. Just like an interesting collection of some parts and pieces and unique wheels. Why not, right?
And a fairly modest price. And the Tiguan's a great vehicle. So
yeah,
it's a deal.
Yeah, it's a deal. So keep an eye out for that. It's called the Tiguan Wolfsburg Edition. Are they built in Wolfsburg? I
believe they are.
I mean, I know GTIs are and R32s are, but I'm not sure. GTI is still one of my favorite cars. I love that car. And,
absolutely. GTI is whatever the German phrase is. But I say it means just fun to drive. Whatever words you can stick with the G and the T and the I. I know what those words mean. Those letters, they mean it comes with a Tesla mug.
That's called the Tesla Special Edition.
Tesla, that's right.
They would say pre-populated cup holders.
Right.
With Tesla mugs, coffee not included.
GTI has got Tesla inside.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I remember working at a place where a guy they would bring in food for the overnight shift, and he would take like multiple loaves of bread home. I was like, I would like a piece of toast, please. Oh, I have to take this home to my family. It's like, don't you get paid? Don't you get paid? I was like,
apparently not enough.
You just have a couple of slices of toast and leave one for me? And he goes, I must bring to my family.
So many press conferences that we've seen people grabbing 5, 6, 7 box lunches and leaving, and just think, come on.
Yeah, you're being offered free lunch, not lunch for the next 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control and stories about mugs and everything else. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.